How's it going, everybody? My name is LuckyBunz, and in today's video we're going to be going over the best Pokemon to evolve during December Community Day 2022. Now with that being said, as always, if you guys do end up enjoying this video, if you do find it helpful, please make sure to smash that like button down below. It helps me out a ton with the YouTube algorithm. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. This is arguably one of the biggest events in Pokemon GO throughout the entire year, and it's going to be taking place over the course of 2 days, specifically on December 17th and December 18th. Now the entire event is going to be going on for a total of about 12 hours each day, from 9 AM to 9 PM respectively in your local time zones. Now one thing I want you guys to keep in mind though is that the shiny rate is only going to be boosted though during the following time frame, from 2 to 5 PM respectively each day. And then in regards to the shiny rate in terms of the boosted odds, it's going to be the same as it normally is during every single comm day, which is going to be 1 out of 25. Now additionally, on top of the shiny boost, we're also going to have additional bonuses as well during the 2 to 5 PM window. So we're going to have 3-hour lure modules as well as 3-hour incense, 2 times catch experience, 2 times catch stardust, 2 times catch candy, as well as a 2 times chance to get extra large candy if you are level 31 or higher, 1/2 incubator distance, and then finally we're going to get 2 special trades, as well as the fact that every single trade you're going to do is going to require 50% less stardust. Now during both of these days, we're also going to have event exclusive 1-star raids, as well as 2-kilometer eggs featuring the 2021 Comm Day Pokemon from last year, at least in their base stage forms. Now keep in mind that you can actually go ahead and evolve any of these Pokemon to get their exclusive Comm Day movesets from 2021, which is kind of the reason why these Pokemon are going to be featured. So basically, just to read off the infograph, we're going to have access to Machop, Eevee, Roselia, Swablu, Duskull, Shinx, Gible, Snivy, Tepig, Oshawott, and Fletchling. Now when it comes into the wild spawns, we're going to have these split up respectively over the course of both days. So on December 17th, you can expect to see Sandshrew, Alolan Sandshrew, Alolan Geodude, Hoppip, Speel, and Stuffle. And then on December 18th, you're going to have access to Teddiursa, Galarian Zigzagoon, Starly, Roggenrola, Litwick, and then finally Dino. And then when it comes into the Comm Day Classic Pokemon, you're going to have access to all 3 of these over the course of both days, specifically being Bulbasaur, Dratini, and Mudkip. Now given that this is going to be a 2-day event, I'm sure there are many of you guys out there who can only actually play one of these days, so you might be thinking, well, which day should I prioritize the most if I can only play one of them? So let's go through this right now. On December 17th, you only have 3 meta-relevant Pokemon. Those are going to be Hoppip, Speel, and Alolan Sandshrew when they evolve into their respective evolutions. But on December 18th, you have access to 5 meta-relevant Pokemon, not including the Comm Day Classic Pokemon, which is an additional 3. So basically, if I had to pick which day was going to be the best, I would go with December 18th. Now with all that out of the way, we can finally start going over the meta-analysis in terms of all these Pokemon that you're going to have access to, and which ones you actually want to prioritize in terms of their exclusive movesets, and just which ones you want to prioritize in general. So let's go ahead and get started with the meta-analysis for all of the 2022 Comm Day Pokemon. So we're just going to run through the list right here in terms of the most meta-relevant Pokemon that you guys want to focus on. So first up, for January Comm Day, we are going to have Walrein, which evolves from Speel to get the exclusive Comm Day movesets, Powder Snow as a fast move, and Icicle Spear as a charge move. Now specifically for Walrein, it is going to have amazing meta relevance in the Great League, the Ultra League, and the Master League. So it's basically a jack of all trades here. Now for any of you guys who've been playing Go Battle League this past year, you know how relevant Walrein is, like you probably see it all the time. So if you weren't able to get a good IV spread during January Comm Day, this is going to be your chance to get a better IV spread for Great League and Ultra League. And even though Icicle Spear did get nerfed slightly, it's still pretty relevant in the overall meta, so I really do recommend going for this one. Our next Pokemon is going to be Hoppip, which evolves into Jumpluff to get the exclusive moveset Acrobatics. Now when it comes into the meta relevance for this Pokemon, it's mainly just going to be in the Great League. It doesn't reach a high enough CP to actually be meta relevant in the Ultra League, so basically as long as you have a good Great League Jumpluff, you're pretty much going to be good to go. And it does rank within the top 100 in the Open Great League, so it's definitely worth getting a good IV spread if you didn't get one earlier this year. Next up, let's talk about Sandslash, which is the March Comm Day Pokemon this year. So we're mainly just going to focus on the Alolan version of this Pokemon, which got access to the fast move Shadow Claw. That's going to be the exclusive one that you get when you evolve it from Alolan Sandshrew. So this Pokemon, unfortunately, in its Kanto version, isn't that great. The exclusive moveset was going to be Night Slash. It just doesn't rank well enough overall in the Great League and Ultra League metas. But Alolan Sandslash, that is a different story. So When it comes down to this Pokemon, I definitely recommend getting a good one for the Great League. For the Ultra League, you're going to need a lot of extra large candy, so if you want to build one for the Ultra League, that's totally on the table, but I wouldn't really recommend it just because it's so Stardust heavy. Next up, let's talk about Dino, which evolves into Hydreigon, and it's going to get the exclusive moveset Brutal Swing. So unlike the other Pokemon that we've talked about so far, this one isn't going to have meta relevance in the Great League and the Ultra League, but it is going to have meta relevance in the Master League as well as the Raid/Gym meta. So we didn't get too many of these Pokemon this year in terms of the Raid/Gym meta relevance, but this is one of them that, as a Dark type attacker, is extremely good. Also, as a Dragon type attacker, I mean, it's not going to have an exclusive moveset there, but as a Dragon type attacker, it's not too bad either. But overall, I would definitely prioritize this one as a Dark type attacker just because you are going to be getting Brutal Swing during this calm day. After getting access to the exclusive moveset Brutal Swing, Hydreigon got bumped up to one of the best Dark type attackers in the game, so if you weren't able to get this Pokemon, definitely make sure to grind this one hard during this event. Speaking of Dark type Pokemon though, the next one we're going to be talking about is going to be Galarian Zigzagoon, which evolves into Obstagoon to get the exclusive moveset Obstruct. So this is going to be another PvP specific Pokemon, mainly relevant in the Great League as well as the Ultra League, but Obstagoon is arguably one of the best Pokemon to have in the entire game. And I guess I should also mention that it's really good for rocket battles too and beating Giovanni. It gives you such a competitive edge. Basically what Obstruct does is that every single time you use it, you get 1 stage buff increase to your defense while also debuffing the opponent's defense. So when you're going up against those rocket leaders or even Giovanni, this is extremely useful. Not to mention Obstagoon just has so much play in the Open Great League as well as the Open Ultra League, so what I would recommend doing is that I would build an Obstagoon for the Open Ultra League, and then you could also use that one for your rocket battles or Giovanni as well. That's just like a great way to get dual functionality. Okay, next up let's talk about Roggenrola, which evolves into Gigalith to get the exclusive moveset Meteor Beam. So basically when it comes down to Gigalith, I wouldn't worry about this Pokemon too much if you already have Rhyperior with Rock Wrecker, Rampardos, Terrakion. But if you don't, then Gigalith is actually going to be a great addition to your Rock-type team for the Raid/Gym meta. Now finally, let's go over our last Pokemon, which is going to be Teddiursa evolving into Ursaluna. So you have to evolve Ursaluna during a full moon, or sorry, I should say you have to evolve Ursaring during a full moon in order to get this Pokemon. And of course, we're probably going to have an artificial full moon during this calm day, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. But basically the meta relevance for Ursaluna is just going to be in the Master League, so if you want to build one for the Open Master League, by all means go for it, but I wouldn't really stress this one too much. Now finally, there are a few other Pokemon that I want to go over in regards to the 2022 calm days. So we already talked about regular Sandslash, you don't want to focus on that Pokemon. But during the April calm day, we did have Stuffle, which evolves into Beware. So the exclusive moveset is going to be Drain Punch, but to be honest, this didn't really do that much for Beware, so you don't actually need to get this exclusive moveset. But that doesn't mean that Beware isn't relevant in the PvP meta for the Great League as well as the Ultra League. It actually ranks like a little bit above the top 100, so you could run this, but it's more of a spice pick than anything else. It's not going to be like super meta. Additionally, we also had Alolan Golem with the featured fast move rollout, but unfortunately it's going to be better to run Volt Switch as a fast move instead. So you don't really want to focus on this one during this calm day, not to mention like Alolan Golem isn't actually even that good in the PvP meta. I mean, Alolan Graveler is pretty good, so if you want to get a good IV spread for Alolan Graveler, that's a different story. That actually does have some great relevance during type-specific cups, so I'd mainly just focus on that Pokemon over the Alolan Golem. And then finally, we're going to have Chandelure, which had the exclusive moveset Poltergeist. Now this does evolve from Litwick, and unfortunately though, Poltergeist is worse than Shadow Ball. It also is going to be worse in the PvP meta, so once again, like another Pokemon out there which does have really good play in the Ghost type meta as well as the Fire type meta and also in the Master League as a spice pick, but you don't really want to evolve it during this calm day. So when it comes down to Chandelure, I would definitely recommend building a few of these for your Fire type team or your Ghost type team if you don't already have that many good attackers, and hopefully if you do get the Hundo, you can build one for the Master League as well. So with that being said, that's basically going to cover all of our 2022 calm day Pokemon, except for the Calm Day Classic Pokemon, which we're going to talk about right now. So the Calm Day Classic Pokemon were an excellent addition to this lineup this year, which I'm very excited to talk about. And the first one that we're going to be going over is going to be Venusaur with Frenzy Plant. So Venusaur, an all-around all-star, guys. It's going to have relevance in the Great League, the Ultra League, and the Raid/Gym meta, not to mention it also has a Mega Evolution. So yeah, you could run it as a Grass-type attacker without the Mega, but I would mainly just focus on it as a Mega. I mean, assuming you didn't get Mega Sceptile a few weeks ago. Following that, our next Comm Day Classic Pokemon of the year is going to be Swampert with Hydro Cannon. This evolves from Mudkip. So Hydro Cannon, I mean, this seriously makes Swampert one of the greatest Pokemon in the entire game, and I am not like underselling that whatsoever. Swampert is so freaking good, guys. Like, it has relevance in the Great League, the Ultra League, the Master League, and the Raid/Gym meta just by itself. Not to mention it also has a Mega Evolution that it just got recently added into Pokemon GO, which makes it, I believe currently, the best Ground-type attacker as well as the best Water-type attacker in the game. So Swampert is basically the GOAT, and if you don't take advantage of getting a ton of Mudkip candy during this event, or some really good IV spreads for PvP, as well as the Hundo for the Raid/Gym meta, I don't know what to tell you. Like, Mudkip is going to be hands down one of the Pokemon that I highly recommend you focus on if you didn't do that earlier this year. And then finally, our last Comm Day Classic Pokemon is going to be Dragonite with the exclusive moveset Draco Meteor. So here's the kicker though, you don't actually need Draco Meteor for Dragonite to be good, but Dragonite by itself is actually amazing with the recent addition to Superpower for PvP. So ideally you want to pair that with either Dragon Breath or Dragon Tail as a fast move, and then you want to pair Superpower with Dragon Claw ideally. You could mix it up if you want to, but really that's kind of like the best moveset for every single league. And this has relevance in the Great League, Ultra League, and Master League, so definitely make sure to go on the hunt for some good IV spreads there. And additionally, on top of that, you know, you could also run Dragonite in the Raid/Gym meta. It is a pretty good Dragon-type attacker, although when it does come down to the Raid/Gym meta, I do recommend having Outrage instead of Dragon Claw. So that's basically going to cover every single 2022 Pokemon that was featured during Comm Day this year, but we also are going to have the option to evolve our 2021 Pokemon to get their exclusive movesets. So which one of those Pokemon are actually going to be meta relevant in this current day and age? So let's go over that right now because it's going to be a little bit different than it was last year. Now I do want to give you guys a quick disclaimer in regards to hunting these, as you can only get them from the 1-star raids as well as the 2-kilometer eggs. If you plan on building these for PvP during this event, I wouldn't really focus on that too much, because most of them are going to require like low attack and then high defense and high HP, which you're not going to be able to get with a floor of 10-10-10 from the raids and from the eggs. Now with that being said though, I'm sure some of you guys probably have some great IVs saved up to evolve during this window, so let's go over which ones you actually want to focus on. So first up, let's talk about Roserade with the exclusive fast move Bullet Seed and the exclusive charge move Weather Ball. So I believe actually for the fast moves, Poison Jab is going to be better on Roserade, although that could be variable depending on the meta. But basically Weather Ball is going to be unanimously good in terms of the Great League and the Ultra League. Following that, our next Pokemon is going to be Talonflame with the exclusive fast move Incinerate. So ideally this is going to have play in the Great League as well as the Ultra League. Now to your benefit though, if you do have a Fletchling that's 100% IV or 98% IV or something like that, or even if you get one from the raids or from the 2-kilometer eggs, in the Ultra League, you ideally do want to have the Hundo, not a typical PvP IV spread. So for Talonflame, this kind of goes against the rule I said earlier. If you do end up getting the Hundo, definitely make sure to evolve that during this event to get the exclusive fast move Incinerate on your Talonflame. This is arguably one of the best Pokemon to use in the Open Ultra League, and it has been for quite some time. Next up, we have Swablu, which evolves into Altaria with the exclusive charge move Moonblast. Once again, main meta relevance is going to be in the Great League. If you already have a good IV spread on your Swablu, make sure to evolve it during this event. Following that, let's talk about our only Pokemon that's going to have meta relevance in the Raid/Gym meta, in addition to having a future Mega Evolution coming out. And it also has play in the Master League, so I guess I should add that as well. That Pokemon is going to be Garchomp with the exclusive charge move Earth Power. So Earth Power makes Garchomp one of the best ground-type attackers in the entire game, not to mention that Garchomp does get access to a future Mega Evolution later down the line, which is arguably going to propel it to the #1 ground-type attacker spot in the entire game for a Mega Pokemon. But if you do have some lucky trades saved up, I would definitely try to lucky trade a Gibble and then evolve it into Garchomp during this event to get Earth Power. Great use of your resources. Now our final 2 Pokemon are going to be evolutions that you're going to have available to evolve during this event, and those are going to be Umbreon and Sylveon. So let's go over Umbreon first. So Umbreon, you're going to have meta relevance in the Great League as well as the Ultra League. Now specifically, this was the second time that the evolutions had a Comm Day, so For the exclusive moveset on Umbreon, it is going to be Psychic and not Last Resort. I just wanted to make that clear. If you want Last Resort, you're not going to be able to get it during this com day. You have to use an Elite Charge TM. But in my opinion, Psychic is actually a pretty good version to have in the Open Great League. I mean, I would say less so in the Ultra League. You kind of want to have Last Resort instead. And for the Ultra League, you would ideally want to have the Hundo. And then finally, let's go over Sylveon with the exclusive charge move with Psyshock. So in terms of the Master League, Sylveon is great to use. In terms of the Great League and the Ultra League, it's also pretty good. Although Charm did get nerfed this past season, so it's not going to be like as meta relevant as it was before, but it's still going to be a worthy option to add to your PvP lineup, just as a Charm user, because those are always going to be usable in my opinion. Even with the nerf guys, like I still use my Charm users all the time. And with all that being said, that's pretty much going to be every single Pokemon you want to evolve during this upcoming December com day. We have included all of the 2022 Pokemon as well as the 2021 Pokemon. If you guys have any additional questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. I will do my best to answer them as soon as I can. But other than that, if you still want some more tips and tricks, check out these videos right here, and before you go, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you all real soon in the next one.